So, Chapter 3.1 is on the introduction to linear functions. And linear functions are functions that are raised to the first degree, therefore linear, and produce a line. And so the general equation for linear functions is y equals mx plus b, where m and b are constants with x as your independent variable, and m cannot equal 0, because then you just have a constant function of y equals b. Linear functions get their name from the expression mx plus b, which is a linear polynomial. Chapter 3.2 is on the properties of linear function graphs. And so in order to know the properties, you have to know what the intercepts are. There's a y-intercept and an x-intercept. And the y-intercept occurs at the value of y when x equals 0. So it's the value of the graph as it goes through the y-axis. And the x-intercept, likewise, is the value of x when y equals 0. So the x value when the graph passes through the x-axis. And the other one is slope. And slope is the ratio of rise over run. And so slope is the same for any 2 points on the line. And so what you do is to calculate slope, you go up the amount of y values and then over the amount of x values. So you rise in the y and you run in the x, and that's how you get your slope. Let's look at the equation y equals x plus 5. And so we want to calculate the y-intercept. And the y-intercept is the value of y when x equals 0. So you know that y-intercept will occur when y equals 5. So at the point 0, 5. And the x-intercept occurs when y equals 0. So you know that x will equal -5. So it occurs at the point -5, 0. And so if we plot those 2 points and draw the line, it'll look like that, going through points 0, 5, and -5, 0. And then to look at the slope, so if you go up one value of y and over one value of x, you come to another point. So the slope is rise of 1 over run of 1. So slope is just 1. And you can see then again, if you go from the point -4, 1, you go up one value and over one value, you get to another point. So the slope is constant throughout the graph, and the slope for this graph is 1. So the slope formula, you can calculate slope by, if you have 2 points, the 2 points of x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2, that just indicates that they're different x values. Then the slope, which is abbreviated m, is the rise, so y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And this can be written shorthand as delta y over delta x, with delta, the triangle, meaning the change in. So it's how much y changes over how much x changes, which is the rise over the run. And so the general equation of y equals mx plus b is known as the slope-intercept form. It's known as the slope-intercept form because m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Because if x equals 0, then you get y equals b, which is the y-intercept. So now let's look at these two equations. So if we look at this first equation, y equals 2x plus 3, you know that the intercept will be at y equals 3, so the point 0, 3. And then you can find the other points by using the slope, which is 2. So you can go up 2 to the right 1, which will give you a point at 1, 5. And then you can go down 2 to the left 1, so you have 2 negatives, which will make a positive, to the point -1, 1. And then you can draw your line through those points, and that's the graph. If you look at the second equation, y equals 3/5 x plus 3, you know that the slope-intercept is as well at 3. And then you can go down 3 to 0 and left 5 to -5 to get your second point. You can draw the line through there, and that's your graph for that equation. So linear functions can result in horizontal lines and vertical lines. And a horizontal line occurs when y equals a constant. Y will equal constant when the slope is 0, because then you'll get y equals 0x plus b, so y will equal b, therefore resulting in a line, and the horizontal line would be like that, with the point being at b. And a vertical line occurs when x equals a constant, and that's because the y value will be 0, and we'll solve for x equals constant. And when a vertical line occurs when the slope is undefined, because a vertical line will look like this, and the slope, there is no run, so it's infinity over 0, which is an undefined number. So if we look at these three equations, the first one, 7x plus 2y equals 10, we want to solve for y. So 2y equals negative 7x plus 10, y equals negative 7 halves x plus 5. So we can plot the point at 0, 5, and then go down 7 and out 2 to draw the graph. So this next equation, y equals 3, we'll have a horizontal line along the line y equals 3 like that. And then x equals negative 4, we'll have a vertical line along x equals negative 4. So right there.